Hey y'all, today I'm going to do a quick little chit chat, probably controversial. I do that a lot when I talk about topics, hot topics, things that go on around the YouTube verse. But this came up in my feed recently, a couple different items, and I just kind of, I don't know, felt like talking about it. So let's talk about panic buying and panic selling. Stick around. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My channel is all about treating yourself to a little bit of luxury, whether that be your favorite fragrance, favorite cup of coffee, your skincare, or designer handbags, and all the things we love to spend our money on. Some of them are behind me back there. And this topic, I don't think I'm going to talk too much about it. It's going to be pretty brief. And I noticed that my luxury YouTube Pickles is shaking the camera there, so sorry about that. My luxury YouTube video has taken on another life. A couple of larger creators found it and did some commentary on it, and you know, I said some things in it that completely stand behind still, but people have some opinions on, and that's okay. And I thought, you know what, I have opinions. I'm gonna find topics here and there that may be controversial, what I think about them, but when I find them interesting, I'm going to comment on them and ask questions. And I have questions. This is what it is. I have questions. This is all it is. I have questions. This is not about throwing shade. You know, everybody needs to live their life and do what they got to do, but I have questions, and these are two topics that I have questions. So these came up recently, and I see it the most often is the panic buying, and totally get that concept and can see some rationale behind it. But the newest one that came up recently was panic selling, and that one really baffled me, because I'm just like, why are you panic selling? What is panic selling? And, you know, why? And is that even a thing? What does it mean? So a couple of gals, Winnie BLV did one, and I think the other one was somehow adulting. I'll link their channels down below. And there've been some other ones here and there, but mostly the panic selling has mostly just been a comment within videos, not necessarily the title of the video, but those were the two that had titles that went by and said panic selling items. And it does seem that at least for these two creators, the panic selling was to get rid of things because they had bought something else, right? But when I first saw the subject, I thought, well, panic selling to me, I think of as the opposite of panic buying, meaning that we're trying to prevent something or do something in advance of a situation or an issue that's happening, like the crash of something coming up. So, but my first thought was, well, do you have some insider knowledge I don't have on, you know, what's happening with the luxury market? Because for me, I've never had any luck selling anything for a profit, for any amount of money. For the most part, even the things that I've tried to get rid of. Here comes Miss Dolly, she's panting. We're in the middle of a heat wave right now, so the pugs they're not doing well in it. I'm mamas, I'm sorry. So the few times I've wanted to get rid of items or make room, so to speak, in my closet, I've never, like, I tried to sell to Fashion File, to Rebag, sell through eBay, consignment shops, what have you, and I like literally was offered like $100 for something, and I'm like, I paid 5 times that, or what have you, the ratio, that it was just like, this makes no sense. So I ended up on some of my things doing giveaways like really early on, and Vlogmas on my channel. Like, I just decided, you know what, if I'm not going to use it, I'm not just going to give it to Goodwill or what have you. I'm going to give it to a subscriber or something. So I ended up giving a giveaway of a couple of LV things over the years, and did a Longchamp bag, did a Gucci scarf. Trying to think of all the things I've given away. Anyways, things I wasn't using anymore, I ended up just giving away rather than trying to sell them, because it just, the hassle of trying to get any money out of them was pretty much impossible. So the thought of panic selling is very foreign to me, so very unusual. However, I do know that a lot of folks do vlog sales and use their luxury items to bring in income or supplement their coffers, so to speak, to then buy their dream bag if they're on their H journey or what have you. They're looking for a way to not spend so much of their, actual free cash and use whatever they may have to supplement that purchase. And that totally makes sense, but I never really considered it panic selling per se. And I guess I have to ask, has anyone out there panic sold? Do you have success in panic selling? And what's, been the driver behind your thought process with panic selling, and does it help you sell the item? Do you find that it makes you more successful because you have that motivation behind it, that panic to sell the items? I'm really truly curious on that. Now, on the opposite side of that, there's the panic buying. And of course, when I thought about panic buying back in the day, you thought about, the panic buying because of the TP shortage during the last situation that we had, and people going out and clearing shelves out. But for the most part, in this realm where we all kind of congregate, we panic buy because of the price increases, and we're always trying to avoid having to spend an extra $100 or $1,000 on an item because there's the inevitable price increase that's happening. So very often we're panic buying because we know that the price increase is coming in a month, a week, days, what have you. So if you're going to buy it or want to buy it, you probably are watching the market and seeing what's going on out there. And if that makes sense, if you're in the market for a handbag that you have the money for and want, why not go ahead and buy it before that increase happens? And that totally makes sense. I personally am not finding a whole lot of desire, or I guess I'm not caving to panic buying, because I did it once and in the end just figured, it was one of those things that I ended up buying through the resale market another version of it eventually anyway, that there really wasn't much of a reason to go ahead and pay full price to beat out that 3% or what have you. And it, in the long run, didn't make sense. Now, if it's a limited edition item that they're not going to make again, the odds of me being able to find it later are probably slim to nil. So that panic buy does occasionally come into mind, and I get that FOMO kind of sensation. But then I really start to think about, do I really need it? Does it really make sense? And eventually I do talk myself out of it, but I can totally understand why people would panic buy in those cases, because it's something that is a limited resource and not going to be readily accessible and available in the future. So it definitely can make sense. But for me, the panic buy it just doesn't drive me to take action for the most part. But I'm curious if you find yourself I don't want to say victim, but is it in a way are you victim to the panic buy, panic sell roller coaster that's happening out there, or do you use it as a kind of a reality check component to what we purchase and what we want to do out there? I just find it kind of it's just a tactic out there to get our money, and I want to make sure that I'm spending it in the best way possible and the wisest way possible. I know I've got so many other priorities and needs that I have to take care of, you know, being I'm the main breadwinner for our family. I have my dogs that are my priority. There's just so many other things that take precedence in my life that I'm able to not fall victim to it too often. I'm not saying I don't wish and don't want, but as far as the taking action on it, it's pretty limited and pretty rare that I would do so. But I think my panic buying is more prevalent when there is a sale or a limited access to a discount or some bonus that's going to come from the purchase, rather than just, you know, trying to beat the price increases that are happening out there. And so far I've been, I think, happy with the way I've decided to approach luxury and my buying habits out there. But do I have some regrets? Of course, but you know, in the end, they're just things, right? So the people and lovely things loved items that we have sometimes make more sense. So anyway, those are my thoughts, as controversial as they may be. Definitely, like I said, I'm not throwing shade at anybody that, you know, does panic buy, panic sell, what have you. This is literally just curiosity and wondering how others think and, you know, approach their buying and spending. And, you know, we all have our reasons for how we do things, and I'm kind of, you know, curious on everyone's thoughts on the subject. So hopefully nobody's having to panic buy or having to panic sell. I hope we're all fortunate and lucky out there. But if we're not, I hope and wish everyone the best in luck of whatever avenue they need to proceed to make their dreams and happiness reality. So take care, y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.